Hi everyone, in this week we are going to talk about price searcher markets with low entry barriers. Firms in competitive price searcher markets with low entry barriers face a downward sloping demand curve. So what does that mean? That means firms are free to set price but face strong competition pressure because of low entry barriers. Competition exists from existing firms and potential rivals. An alternative term for such markets is monopolistic competition. So in this textbook, the author uses competitive price searcher markets, but in other textbook you will see that the name is monopolistic competition. So what is the difference between price takers and price searchers? The main difference is the product. The product differentiation is key in price searcher markets because firms can differentiate their product and then charge their own price. Price searchers produce differentiated products that differ in design, dependability, location, ease of purchase, and etc. Rival firms produce similar products, they are good substitutes, but still you can find some dissimilar aspects of each product. And therefore each firm confronts a highly elastic demand curve. So one example for price searchers is Starbucks. Most of the time you can find coffee, plain coffee from any donut shop, maybe $1 to $1.5. But when you go to Starbucks, probably you pay at least $2.5 to $3 to buy just plain coffee. So as you see, Starbucks is charging a higher price. The reason is because of the differentiation. We usually pay more for Starbucks because of the location, right? Location of the Starbucks are prime. So when you go to Starbucks, you can sit, enjoy the environment, and also drink your coffee. Therefore, for that reason, customers of Starbucks are happy to pay higher prices for Starbucks coffee, for the plain coffee. And also, Starbucks has a differentiated menu. You can find different types of coffees, different types of drinks on the menu. This is also another way to differentiate your product. So how price and output determine in price searchers? A profit maximizing price searcher will expand output as long as marginal revenue exceeds marginal cost. So price will be lowered and output will be expanded until marginal revenue equals marginal cost. Okay, price searcher has two tools, right? Price and quantity. But we know that when we increase the price, quantity goes down because you lose some customers. And for that reason, you need to find the combination of price and quantity that you satisfy this condition. So this condition is the same as price takers, right? Nothing has changed. In price taking markets, MR equals to P. Therefore, we say that P should equal to MC to maximize the profit. The price charged by a price searcher will be greater than its marginal cost. So here, the key is that in price searcher market, marginal revenue is not equal to price. That is true for price takers, but for price searchers, it's not. So let's understand this point. Let's say you sell 3 items, 1, 2, and 3, and each is $5. So the total revenue that you are going to get from 3 items is going to be $15. In order to sell the 4th unit, okay, the 4th one here, you need to decrease the price to $4 because you cannot find the 4th person who could pay the $5, so you need to decrease the price to $4. But when you decrease the price to $4, you need to decrease the price for all units. And look what happens, 4 times 4, $16. So let's calculate the marginal revenue. Marginal revenue is the change in total revenue when you add one more output, okay? Change in total revenue when you add one more output is $1. It's not equal to price. Price is $4, but your marginal revenue is $1. So the difference here is that in price takers, you cannot change the price. So whatever the unit you sell exactly at the market price. Therefore, marginal revenue equals to price. But here in this market, in order to sell more, you need to decrease the price. When you decrease the price, you need to decrease the price for all units. Therefore, total revenue increases because of an increase in quantity, but at the same time decreases because of a decrease in price. You see these conflicting arrows? Therefore, the increase in total revenue is not equal to price. It's less than price. Always marginal revenue is less than and equal to price in price searcher market. Here you can see one example. Consider the market for a product with initial price P1 and Q1. And the total revenue is P1 times Q1, this area, right? This rectangular area. With a downward sloping demand curve, price reductions that increase sales will exert two conflicting influences on TR. As the price falls from P1 to P2, output increases from Q1 to Q2. What effect does this have on total revenue? First, total revenue will rise because of an increase in the number of units sold. So you are selling additional this much unit at P2 price. But total revenue will decline because of the decrease in price. You see, this part reduction is in total revenue. This part is the increase in total revenue. Because of these two conflicting effects, marginal revenue will be less than price. Now the next question is, we know the rule now. For profit maximization, MR is equal to MC. Then which quantity and price satisfies that condition? A price searcher maximizes profits by producing where MR equals MC at output level Q along the price P, and which we find on the demand curve. So let's understand the step 1. Find where MC equals MR. The intersection point of two curves is going to tell us where MC equals MR. And then at that point, go down to find quantity. Okay, so the firm should produce this much quantity. This is profit maximizing quantity. This is step 2. And step 3, go up to read the price. Price is not here, okay? No, this is wrong. Price is on the demand curve. Price is determined by willingness of the buyers, which is the demand curve. Go up to the demand curve and find the price. This is the price. The step 3 is finding the price on this quantity on the demand curve. Now we know the price, we know the quantity, we need to find the cost. Remember, to calculate profit, we need to know the total cost or per unit cost. At that quantity, go up to the ATC to find the cost. So the cost is C dollars. Now we can find the profit. Per unit profit is P minus C. You earn P dollars, spend C dollars, but you do this for Q units of output, and this is your profit. Or yellow rectangular area on the screen. So let's now understand profits and losses in the long run for price searchers. If firms are making economic profits, then rival firms will be attracted to the market. Since there are not many barriers to entry, the entry of new firms will expand supply and lower prices. The demand curve for each firm will shift inward until the economic profits are eliminated. So let me explain this. If there are positive profits, right, in this market, new firms will enter. Now we have more firms selling the same product, and the demand curve for a single firm, let's say Starbucks, is going to go down because there are now a lot of substitutes that they can go and buy very similar products. Therefore, when the demand curve for this single firm decreases, the prices are going to go down. And when prices are going to go down, the economic profits are eliminated. Okay, this is the first case. If there are economic losses, then this will cause price searchers to exit from the market. So these firms are going to exit from the market that they cannot make, okay, money because they are losing money. And now the existing firms' demand curve is going to increase. And when the demand curve increases, price for their product increase, so the losses will be eliminated. Competitive price searchers can make either profits or losses in the short run, but only zero economic profit in the long run. If you have competition in the market, long run economic profits, positive long run economic profits is not possible. Therefore, you always go back to zero economic profit condition. Here is the example. because entry and exit are free, competition will eventually drive prices down to the level of ATC. Okay, let's find it, right? Let's find the price. First, intersection of MC and MR. MC equals MR. This is where you find the quantity. And at that quantity, price on the demand curve is P. Cost on the black line, black curve, ATC is C. So C equals P means that we have zero economic profit because P minus C is going to be 0 times Q is equal to 0. When profits are present, the demand curve will shift inward until the zero profit equilibrium is restored. The price searcher establishes its output level where MC equals MR. At Q, the average total cost is equal to the firm's price P. As a result, zero economic profit is present. No incentive for firms to either enter or exit the market if you have zero economic profit. Now let's little bit talk about contestable markets and competitive process. A contestable market is one in which entry and exit costs are low. There are no legal barriers to entry. There is one example from the textbook that you can read about airline industry, but there are too many markets like that, right? To have a coffee shop, you don't need huge investment. You just rent a place and then design the store and you have the business. So producing coffee or selling coffee is also a contestable market. Actual and potential competition in these markets leads to zero economic profits and efficient production. Because of competition, each producer now needs to find low-cost production methods in order to increase their profit. That leads to efficient production. Evaluating competitive price searcher markets. Comparing price searchers and takers. Let's look at now. This one is for price takers. Remember, their demand curve is horizontal. They don't have impact on the price. Here on the second graph, you see that price searchers, because their demand curve is downward sloping and their MR curve is not equal to demand curve. Here, demand equals to MR, but here, marginal revenue is less than demand. So both have in the long run zero economic profit, okay? With each, P is equal to ATC, and so there are no economic profits in the long run. As the price searcher faces a downward sloping curve, its profit maximizing price exceeds MC. So here, remember, MC is here, but the best price, profit maximizing price P2, is greater than MC. In this case, it's not true because P1 is equal to MR equals to MC. In contrast with the price taker market, the price searcher's Q is too small to minimize ATC in long run equilibrium. Here, the main difference, as we said first, P2 is greater than MC for price searchers. P1 is equal to MC in price takers. But look at the quantity. The quantity is set such that the price intersects with the minimum of ATC. But here, the quantity is low, right? Because the minimum of ATC is here, is low compared to price takers in the long run. And the demand curve intersects with ATC, not its minimum point. So even though the two markets have the same cost structures, the price in the price searcher market is higher than that in the price taker market. So P2 is higher than P1. Some consider this price discrepancy a sign of inefficiency. Others perceive it as the price paid for product variety and dynamic improvement in products over time. So you are paying, as I said, for Starbucks coffee $2.5, whereas in maybe perfectly competitive environment you pay $1.5. So there is a price change, right? There is a price difference, but this difference, some people say that is because of inefficiency. Some people say that because you need to spend this money to differentiate your product. For instance, in case of Starbucks, you need to pay higher rents. So the cost is higher, so your price is higher. Now we are going to talk about a special case, price discrimination. Price discrimination, when a seller charges different consumers different prices for the same good or services. So here is the key point. For the same good or services, you charge different prices to different people. Price discrimination is totally legal and can only occur when a price searcher is able to identify groups of customers with different price elasticities of demand. So I should be able to know the customer's willingness to pay so that I can charge different prices to different groups of customers. And second, prevent customers from retrading the product. So it shouldn't be the case that if I sell cheap to a group of customers, they can go and sell the product in the market at a different price. Sellers may gain from price discrimination by charging higher prices to groups of customers with more inelastic demand. So when we say inelastic demand, this group is not sensitive to price changes. So therefore, higher prices, they don't care. And lower prices to groups of customers with more elastic demand. Because these customers care about the price, even a small change, they may change to buy another product. Therefore, you are charging lower prices for the customers who have elastic demand. Price discrimination generally leads to more output and additional gains from trade. Now, let's consider one example. This is the market for airline travel, where let's assume that marginal costs per traveler is 100. So if you sell one more ticket to a customer, it costs $100 for the airline. If airline charges all customers the same price, profits will be maximized where marginal revenue equals marginal cost. This is the point. And there will be 100 passengers. At 100 passengers, you should sell each ticket for $100. Now let's calculate the revenue. 400 times 100, which is 40,000. And let's calculate the cost. 100 passengers times $100. So this is 100 because each customer costs you $100, which is 10,000. So the profit is the difference between these two, 40K minus 30K, 10K, which is equal to 30K. So this generates net operating revenue of $30,000 or total revenues of $40,000 minus operating costs of $10,000. Now, by charging higher prices to consumers with less elastic demand and lower prices to those with more elastic demand, it will increase net operating revenue. So who are the customers who have less elastic demand? Business travelers, right? They have to travel at a certain schedule. For instance, they just go for 2 days for a conference or to just meet with the other company owners. So these people, business travelers, are less elastic. And other people like vacationers or students who have flexible times are less elastic. If the airline charges $600 to business travelers who have a highly inelastic demand and $300 to other travelers who have a more elastic demand, it can sell more seats, 120 compared to 100. First, let's calculate the revenue for business travelers. 60 business travelers and each 60 times 600, so the total revenue is going to be 6 times 6, 36,000. And there's going to be a cost from business travelers. This is business travelers. The total cost is going to be 60 times 100, which is 6,000. So the net operating revenue is going to be 30,000 from the business travelers. So this area represents the green rectangular, 30,000 from business travelers. Now let's calculate the revenue that is earned from all others, and we have for all others 60, so all others, we have 60 remaining because total 120, 60 is business travelers, 60 others. 60 times 300 is the revenue, which is 1800. 60 times 100 is the cost, which is 6,000. So the net operating profit of 12,000. Okay? So you're making 30,000 net operating revenue from business travelers and 12,000 from others, which is net operating revenue. So the total net operating revenue is going to be 42. 30K plus 12K, 42K. Okay? So what is happening here compared to this case? If you don't price discriminate, you are making 30K. If you do price discriminate, you are making 42K. So price discrimination increases the net operating revenue or the profit of the firm. And next we talk about entrepreneurship and economic progress. Keys to prosperity entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurial judgment and the development of improved products and production processes are a central element of economic progress. Entrepreneurial judgment is necessary when there is no decision rule that can be applied using only information that is freely available. For this reason, we are unable to incorporate fully the function of the entrepreneur into economic models. There simply is no way to model these complex decisions that involve uncertainty, discovery, and business judgment. An entrepreneur is someone who finds new combinations of resources and creates new products and production methods that did not previously exist. Entrepreneurs who discover and introduce lower-cost production methods and new products that are highly valued relative to the cost promote economic progress. Entrepreneurs also have a strong incentive to discover the type of business structure, size of firm, and scope of operation that can best keep the per unit cost of products or services low. A growing, vibrant economy will be characterized by the constant introduction of new products and services. Nobody knows what the next innovative breakthrough will be or who will discover and develop it. The only real test of a new product or service is to try it out within the framework of the competitive market process. The rate of discovery will depend on the structure of rewards. In economies where it's attractive to discover new ways of doing things, the discovery rate of wealth creating opportunities will be higher and human progress more rapid. Business failures are usually reported as bad news about the economy. So we know that many entrepreneurs started their business, and we also know that most of the businesses are going to fail. Though business failures are painful for those directly involved, they release resources so they can be employed more productively elsewhere. The assets and workers of failed firms become available for use by others supplying goods that consumers value more relative to costs. Without this release of resources, economic expansion would be slowed. So the introduction of new and improved products often lead to obsolescence of others. And Joseph Schumpeter referred to this process as creative destruction. And one example is that, for instance, we have DVDs before, but it's replaced by digital platforms, right, such as Netflix. In a competitive economy, numerous businesses regularly come and go. Each year, newly created businesses account for about 10% of the total, but 60% of them will fail within 6 years. And this is the end of chapter 23. Thank you for watching.